Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation that one of our admin helped us with. The translation reads like this. There was a time when I was staying in Alex. There was this other spirit. I don't know if it was a Tokoloshi or what, but it almost killed me. And even up to this very day, I am so scared when I move from one rental apartment to another because of what happened when I arrived in Joburg. I swear to you, I am not mad. I know how this sounds, but what happened to me, and I will never forget that place. I used to rent at this other place in room 4B. It still haunts me to this very day, and I have told a couple of people, but those that I have told, including my relatives back home, they do not believe me. Maybe you will believe me, maybe you won't, but let me just tell you my own story, otherwise I'll go crazy. My name, not his real name, is Lungi. I am 24 years old, originally from the Free State, but I moved to Alex because I got a job at a laundry spot just close to Pan Africa Mall. It was not a great job at all, but I kept on hanging on because what else was I supposed to do back home? Things were not going great for me either, and I was tired of sponging off my auntie, plus city life was calling for me. You know how it is when you want to be independent and you want to vibe and you're back. I found a cheap boarding house there in Alex, just behind this other spaza. Rent was about $9.50 a month, shared toilet, no Wi-Fi, and you bath with a bucket. But I was okay with that as long as I had my peace and could save just a little bit. And I was running away from the woman that I used to date. She had hurt me so much. She was dating another guy who was driving a very beautiful car, and I knew that my competition with him was over. How could I have ever competed with a guy that owns a Porsche? Like, seriously, I could never compete with such a guy. So feeling the heartbreak, that was when I moved from Free State and then I came to Joburg. The landlady, whom I'll call Old Mama Gugu, showed me the room 4B. It was a small thing, a square room with a single bed, and then there was a wardrobe which was really old. It was not fancy at all. I asked her about that, and she was like, no, that one you are going to leave it here. Even if you buy your own stuff, that wardrobe, you're not supposed to move it. But at that price, I was not complaining because the salary that I was earning, it was not quite a lot. So I said, thank you, God, at least I have a place to crash for now, or at least I am trying to improve my life. She did say, amanye bayahamba, they never last, but maybe when you are strong. I laughed it off. Maybe they just didn't like Alex, I said, but she did not laugh. That woman, she never laughed at all. She just stared at me, and then she shook her head, and then she walked away. When she walked off, she was like, maybe they don't like Alex, and she was complaining, repeating each and everything that I had told her. The first night, I felt like I was hearing someone that was whistling. So I thought that maybe since I had moved in on a Friday, that is the reason as to why I was hearing people that were whistling. It was exactly 3:12 a.m. I woke up and there were people that were whispering and whistling like someone was standing outside of my window gossiping. So I thought maybe since there were people that were still grooving, someone had gotten drunk, so much drunk that they had gotten into the wrong yard. But why was that person whispering as if they were standing just next to the window? But the window had burglar bars, and when I looked out, I saw that the alley was just empty. There was no one in the yard. The whisper didn't sound Zulu or Xhosa, not any language I knew. It was something that was like foreign, like someone was trying to speak in a foreign language. I told myself that maybe it was someone that was drunk. I forced myself to sleep again. Usually when I go to bed, I take my earphones and then I plug them in and play some nice deep house music. The next morning, I asked the woman in room 4A, she was a quiet lady whom I will call Tuli, if she had had anything the previous night. She looked at me and she was like, oh, you are in room 4B, right? And I was like, yeah, why? She shook her head and she was like, I really do not know, but people who get into that room, they don't last there. Ask Mama Gugu. And then I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to disturb her. Then the second week, because after that Friday, things died down. I was having a nice time. And then the second week, that was when I saw something that I can never forget. Believe you me, if you see something that is of a spiritual nature for the rest of your life, you will always remember it. I saw things in the mirror. I saw a shadow, a black shadow that moved into the mirror. That wardrobe, it had a very big mirror. So one night when I was just resting, that was when I saw a movement that happened behind me. When I turned, the room was empty. I turned back and then I saw that there was a woman there, but it was a black shadow standing behind me. A dark dress, no face, just nothing. And then that was when she moved. I don't know where she moved to. Like, it's quite complicated, but I saw that woman moving. I screamed. When I turned again, she was gone. There was nothing. Then I ran outside and then I met that lady. She was just there. She asked me, why was I screaming like a donkey? And then she walked back into her room and then she called out to me. Even though she had left the door open, I did not want to follow her. She wanted to give me something to help me to fall fast asleep because she had seen that I was being possessed by the demons that had followed me from Free State. That is exactly that she did. She was quite a tribalist, that lady. So each and every night at around 3 a.m., I used to hear people talking outside, like someone will be standing over me whilst I'll be falling asleep. I don't know if you have ever had that type of a dream that all of a sudden when you wake up you feel like there was someone that was watching you. Then at the time when you wake up, that person will just run away. So the story was that after I had started dating this other girl, she was staying in the next street. So I told her where I was staying and she was like, okay, oh great. Then when I wanted her to come to my place for a sleepover, when she came, she stood by the door and she refused to enter into the room. I asked her why. She said she would rather risk us going and sleeping over at her place. You know, we stayed just standing, me and her, we were kissing until somewhere around past 10 when she said that maybe her mom had fallen fast asleep. We went to her room and then she started telling me some things that had happened. She told me that at that house there was this other woman who was from Durban who had her own daughter. So what happened was that this woman, she had two boyfriends, then they started fighting with each other. One night when she had gone to visit another boyfriend, that was when they came, that other boyfriend, and found out that she was not at home and found their daughter, slept with that daughter of hers, and after that murdered her. So it was the ghost of that young girl that had been troubling me. And she also told me that there were a lot of people that had stayed at that room, and all of those people, they kept on running away. So she also told me that if I wanted to be normal, not to go crazy, I was supposed to look for a room somewhere else. She was the one who even assisted me to get a room in Kempton Park. That is where I am staying right now. I stay in Kempton Park. I then got a new job, but every day I pray, and ghosts, they are for real. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister who helped us with this translation. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world.